Hey everybody, welcome off the rack. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
So forgive me in advance. The pollen index is astronomical right now. I'm taking my Allegra, but it is just a nightmare in here. Like, I can taste the pollen in my throat, and it is just a nightmare. So I'll be clearing my throat periodically throughout the show. Hi everybody, I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
So before we jump in, first I want to address the super chats because it's important to the show, and also because Jack O'Connell's got to go. He says, I don't know if I'm going to be here when you go live because it's 24 o'clock where I am, so I love your channel. Thank you very much, Jack. I really appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're the man. And we understand. That's why this show is recorded for posterity. So while you are enjoying the live stuff live, if you can't, you always catch it here after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of super chats, that's actually a great segue into reminding people who are watching the show live that the super chats are a great way for you to collaborate with us. So that if you have a question or comment or you want to say something, use the super chat so we can actually keep a straight list of everybody who wants to do that, so we can actually address them in an orderly manner, in an organic way. And also, the super chat proceeds go to support this space here, which you don't get to see very much of. Every time I plug the space, I'm like, oh, look at all this space, but all you see is a wall. Trust me, there are many walls. I've got at least 7 walls going on in here. No fewer than 7 walls, but certainly an even number of them. Anyway, so before we jump into the books, we want to wish a belated happy Free Comic Book Day.
Yes.
Happy Free Comic Book Day to you, Tiffany.
Thank you, and to you as well. I don't that's like May the 4th. I'm like, what do I say?
Right. You say May the 4th be with you.
And also with you.
And lift up your hearts.
Yeah, no, so that's just the that's the rigor was put into there.
I know.
Yeah.
When I was a huge Star Wars fan,
Yeah.
my friend Jason and I used to debate what we say when you say May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
And then Lucas is like, I don't know. And he had to do it. So it happened in the prequels. And I think one of them says, and with you. It's like, that's all I could say.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about a lot of books this week. But before we do, Free Comic Book Day happened.
Yeah.
Tiffany, I know that you grabbed more free comic books than I did.
Yeah.
And probably read more of them than I did because I didn't have time to do anything.
I didn't read any of them. I thumbed through a few.
Okay, well, let's see them.
Well, it's really just the one that I brought because I was trying to read this before we started, and that just didn't happen.
Yes, DC was promoting their Year of the Villain.
Yeah.
Only 25 cents, although I noticed that a lot of stores we went to...
It's free. It's free on Comixology, too. I noticed.
Right.
So if you didn't grab it if Free Comic Book Day, you can grab it on there. Yeah. I very briefly thumbed through it. I'm seeing a lot of, the work that Snyder's built in here, along with a bunch of other stuff. And it's cool. And, I like when they do, little backups of, designs and stuff. That's really where I'm all about. I'm like,
definitely.
ooh, character designs. But what I really wanted to mention was I picked up this, sweet random book, and this is going to be, we're going to get to the real comic goodness in just a second. But for those of you who are comic fans who also have other loves and enjoy D&D in particular, I picked this up, which was unexpected. It was just sitting outside, and I was like, ooh, it's a soft touch cover. This couldn't possibly be free. And it was. It totally was. It's called Rolled and Told. And I was like, all right, cool, a little D&D comic, whatever. Because I opened it up, I saw that. I was like, fine, I'll take it, whatever. That's not what it is.
Oh, no?
It's a comic in here, and this issue, since it's the free one, has a campaign in it, too.
Oh, like a D&D campaign?
A D&D campaign, which would take, I think, 6 to 12 hours.
Okay.
Playtime.
It's relatively small.
Yeah, for a D&D campaign, it's it's like a one-shot kind of deal.
Yeah, done in one.
And, honestly, in the back of it, there's also little characters. If you want to just jump in and play, you can do that. But apparently, the guys who make this, if you buy the issue, it's normally $8. But for that $8, you get 2 campaigns.
Oh, cool.
Illustrated maps. And there is a little illustrated map in here, and it's so cute.
Oh, that's fun.
So cute.
Nice.
So cute. So I just wanted to put this on your radar. I'd never heard of this before.
No.
And again, this is really just if you are into pen and paper games, or you want to try it out. This kind of just has everything you need in a way, except for some of the extra materials. But it's a good place to start. Kind of cool. Anyway, that was it. I just wanted to
there you go.
throw that out there.
But, for those of you who are watching the show after the fact, let us know what books you picked up for free Comic Book Day that you want to recommend. Because there were a lot of them that came out.
Yes.
I saw, a Spawn issue. I saw a Tick, which I never got either of them. They
No.
weren't enough. I got a Spider-Man, Carnage event.
Yes.
All the Avengers books must have run out at, 9 o'clock in the morning because every store we hit, we had at least 3 stores They were all out.
No,
by
but
the
they
time
did
we
have
got
War
there.
of the Realms.
They did War of the Realms, which we did pick
and,
up.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and just a whole bunch of other things. I saw they had one of those little, like, the little imprints for one of the, like, young all ages sort of
Yes,
Justice
smaller
League
book.
I picked it up just because sometimes folk want to know about that. If you have families, you want to know what's up. So I picked it up to check it out. It seems cute.
But if you are like us, a lot of your stores also were taking advantage of all the foot traffic and made some crazy deals, crazy sales going on. And so we went a little ham and got this short box full of books.
Yes.
Just from, I think this is actually one store.
This is really just one store.
Because they were doing quarter bins.
They really were.
And it was awesome.
The quarter back issues bins, you can't get better than that.
No.
Honestly.
I made a critical strategic error. There's a creator who I wanted a book signed by that's coming up at a con.
But you didn't.
And I bought the first issue of a comic. It was Catwoman #1 from Jim Balent.
Yeah.
And I just thought it'd be kind of fun, and it was discounted from $5 to $2.50.
Yeah.
Super nice
really
deal.
Can't go wrong with
No.
that. And I don't think you should have. I don't think you should have wagered.
No. But in the quarter bin, I did get Catwoman #1 again, but this one was signed by everyone who worked on it.
For 25 cents.
For 25 cents.
Yes.
This includes people like Joe Duffy, Jim Balent, Dick Giordano, and Buzz Setzer. Only 5,000 in circulation. It's pretty neat. But like, this is the kind of magic you can find.
You can.
In the quarter bins.
Or you find other random things that
Oh,
you
right.
don't necessarily want.
You mean like this divider?
Yeah. Sal really wanted this acrylic divider. I
Yeah.
was like, go for it, man.
Keeps rigidity in your boxes and bags.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. We also got some great trades, which are not reflected here. Mine are all at home.
Yep.
Because I was like, no, I want to be able to read them.
Yeah.
But got 50% off of those as well.
Yes.
For all, it's like, it really, I mentioned this on my stream yesterday, that it was like Black Friday for
Right.
comic books.
That's exactly what it was. And I think they need to like do something like that. I guess that's literally what it is, because there's nothing cheaper than free. And if free comics are the thing that gets you in the door, that's how you should treat it.
Yeah.
So if you have a store that does that, great. If you don't, find one, or at the very least, take advantage of your local Comic Con and try to take advantage of those dollar bins. Because,
Yes.
Listen, I'm sure that the people who were selling us these books were thrilled to lose multiple long boxes of
Right.
inventory.
Except for the Catwoman. They probably were less thrilled about
No,
that.
he was very happy. He was really impressed.
He
He was
was
like, "Hey, you got the
impressed.
Catwoman,
Yeah.
nice."
But like, why would you put that in there?
Oh yeah.
I mean.
No, he got a collection.
didn't care.
Put it
He's
out
like,
there. He's
whatever.
like, get it out.
Yeah.
I was like, that's awesome. Pass the savings on to us. So jumping into the super chats before we finally get into the books, and we apologize for the
getting
delay. It's Algie Try who says War of the Realms is cool, but the tie-ins are god awful. Why does Thor have a baby sister that is never mentioned anywhere else? Madness. Well, they did announce that he had a sister, and it was Angela, and I mean, like, Odin was a busy guy. I could buy that he would.
He's not like Zeus level.
No. Listen, I hear what you're saying, and I heard it years ago, which is why I'm not affected by the War of the Realms tie-ins, because I don't read tie-ins.
No.
I deliberately avoid them unless, like, the cover is gorgeous. That Spider-Man War of the Realms tie-in, which I don't think even came out yet, is when I was like, ooh, I'll pick that up, because it's Spider-Man wearing, like, a fun Thor helmet.
Yeah.
And carrying a shield. But, like, Aaron seems to want to make Spider-Man into, like, a big fat joke in this book, so, like, I'm sure it'll be more of the same. That being said, as far as tie-ins go, I leave them pretty much every single time.
You do.
And I'm usually not disappointed, nor am I in the cold when it comes to the story.
Yeah.
Now, we do back issues, and I'm like, I was explaining the tie-in, doesn't matter. Usually there's like a throng of people who are like, actually it mattered a lot. And then they proceed to explain how little it actually mattered to the main story.
Well,
Unless you're Secret Empire, in which case it was actually better in the tie-ins than it was in the main book.
ooh.
So, Caleb J. Villa says, if you both could write a DC and Marvel series or miniseries, what dream characters would you pick?
You first.
I mean, like, honestly, I would want to pick, like, characters we made fun of in The Wrong Box and in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Why?
Because it's, like, a challenge. Like, I don't know if I could actually write a good Spider-Man story because I'm too close to the character. I
fair.
would be like, oh, let's have it be, like, that everything goes well for him. And people would be like, that's not fun. So, probably characters like Cloak and Dagger, who I think are, like, kind of a big fat waste of time in most cases. and I've never really enjoyed any really good series of them.
Right.
But
okay.
Maybe Lunatic, bring him back. Blood Wolf, why not?
No.
Black Wolf, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Blood Wolf, Rob Liefeld. Black Wolf.
No.
Whoever the
I'm
hell
just
made
gonna
that.
no to both. No.
Damn.
No.
How about you?
Doctor Strange.
Naturally.
I'm not too close.
No, you would. Ghost Rider as well.
Yeah.
You do a
I'll
killer
bring back Danny. We'll make it right, Danny.
We'll fix
We'll
it.
make it right.
We'll shove your face in garbage.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Roboto says, Tiffany, how is 2099? Also, what characters?
Right. This is kinda.
It's kinda. It's
kind of. It's
yeah.
the right. Yeah.
I think it's ultimate, but either
it
way.
is, but like color-wise.
Color-wise, totally.
Sort of. Yeah.
What characters Marvel DC should get a Beyond or 2099 example to Deadpool 2099? What other characters should go into the far-flung future?
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight 2099? That would sell like crazy.
I'm just saying, Moon Knight 2099. You can either do it as Moon Knight himself in like a fish out of water story, or you can do like Khonshu in the future.
Yeah. Future Khonshu.
Yeah.
Khonshucher. I don't know. That would work. Green Lantern 2099 or whatever the equivalent. Green Lantern Beyond would be fun. And yes, I know there was like an animated one where it's a little kid. That's boring. Who cares? No, like future core.
There you go.
My pitch: the core's dead.
Okay.
Someone finds a ring in the Beyond future,
Nice.
and so like they have to it's basically Kyle Rayner in the future.
I would do Constantine Beyond.
There you go.
Just because of the his religious undertones, obviously, or overtones, the nature of him in the future and what that actually entails at this point. Like, is that a thing anymore?
Right. Yeah.
Like, how do you function in that?
Yeah, I haven't
sense?
seen really how they square that circle for magic in the Beyond universe. So.
Right? Yeah. And then just one other, I guess, for 2099. Bishop. He's from the future.
Yeah, why not? I don't know what year Bishop comes from. So would it be the future or the past?
I don't know. He's still going to say the same thing. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He just wants that harmonica playing.
Joey Troyer, Batman Beyond on Bad Issues. One day.
Perhaps.
Probably. Maybe. Conqueror Worm. Free book I snagged was Interceptor issue 1 by Donny Cates. Definitely worth a look. Think punky sci-fi meets vampire hunting. Feels like my jam.
I saw that there, but I had my limit of 5, and I didn't want to be greedy since we had already bought so many 25-cent comics. I was like, I don't need to take these out of the hand. There was literally a pile of children there.
It's like, let them grab it.
So I was like, I have my 5. Let's not push it.
Yeah. Mr. Roboto, any independent titles are new or current to check out? I mean, yeah, we recommend all kinds of new and or independent titles. And in fact, at the end of this show, we're going to recommend some titles for you to pick up that are coming out this week that we think you should grab.
But I can recommend one that's independent right now that isn't on my list today because it hasn't come out, and that would be Die, which I think you've heard me talk about before,
Yes,
but
you
I think
have.
it's fun, and I definitely give it a look.
There you go. And Infamous Cavalier. Love you guys. Love you too, pal. Thank you so much.
you.
So, jumping into the books.
Let's do it.
War of the Realms, number 3.
Wow, we're just going to start there. Wow.
Why not?
Okay.
Written by Jason Aaron, with art by Russell Dowderman. Just continues the war. Again, not reading the tie-in, so as far as we're concerned, things are happening. There's a lot of implication about those tie-ins, but again, we only get little windows into them, and that's fine.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
No.
Can I say something really quickly? I really was digging on the art last time.
No.
I still am to some degree, but then Cap shows up, and I'm like, what happened to your face?
I was saying the same thing for Daredevil.
Oh,
Why is a giant infant being crammed into Daredevil's costume?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
I felt really bad because I loved Russell Dowderman's work earlier.
Yes.
Like you said, this book, he must have been under the gun.
I don't know.
I will say all the other stuff, weapons, locations, horses, the hardest thing to draw in fiction.
Yes.
Or nonfiction.
Yeah.
Looks really cool. Well, they were Pegasi, so technically fictional horses. But really great looking. Once you got to the people and the faces, it was like, oh no.
Yeah, but
especially faces that weren't distinct. Like Wolverine looked pretty normal.
Yeah.
Heimdall looks pretty normal. Frank Castle, pretty okay. Then you get to Cap, Daredevil, and
it's something about the top mask
it's just
showing the jaw. I don't know what happened.
I don't know.
It was just so jarring.
Yes.
I feel like I actually didn't even notice the Daredevil thing, and I'm seeing it now. But that first page with Cap on it,
I know. He's supposed to be square jawed and exciting, and he's just tapered, and he looks like a
what
big silly boy. So anyway, Freya's like, Cap, you're gonna have to lead the charge, and we're gonna go into save my son.
Freya, no, but Freya's smart. What I dig about how they're portraying Freya is that she's just like, I'm gonna get my son, and then she reevaluates. She's like, okay,
Odin's asleep.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go and deal with the like black Bifrost.
Yes, the Black Frost.
She's like, I'm gonna go deal with that because that's really the main front, and since I know the most about it, I should be the one who goes. And even though I want to go get my son, you're gonna go get my son.
Right.
And I'm like, good on you. And like, I think Cap kind of respects that. She's leading. You know?
Yeah.
Cap's probably a little bit like, hey.
Oh, okay. No, he seems pretty totally on board.
No, I meant like, hey, I'm supposed to be.
I lead.
I do the thing.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Right.
But we get like naturally in an instance like this, it's like, hey, let's do the thing where we have like our breakdown of teams so that we can have our tie-in.
Right. Exactly.
So if you want to read more about that, you go find the tie-in, or not, you just accept that like things happen in between the panels and you have fun with it, which is kind of what I have been doing.
Yeah, like, do we need to know all the things that happen to all these characters? Absolutely not, but let's do it anyway.
What's amazing, though, is from the last issue, we even get the payoff, though, of Daredevil talking with Heimdall. That wasn't just a one-off joke. They're like, no. Let's go do something about that.
Yeah.
And, like, Heimdall, no sight, he's just like, listen, man, like, you want to give this a shot, you give this a shot, but you're just a mortal man.
Right.
And you're about to, like, see and hear things only the gods can.
Yes, or should, for that matter. And he's like, well, the sisters always told me I was a bad Catholic, which I thought was really great.
Yeah, it's really fun. And so we get to see Daredevil the God without fear.
Yes, it was very reminiscent of Darkseid War, God of Knowledge.
Sure.
But you know what? We wanted to see, it's cool.
Yeah, conceptually, like, this should be a really neat image.
That's the thing. It should have been awesome. It really, really knocked the legs out from under this moment because, like, it should be so cool.
Yeah.
And instead, it's just kind of like silly looking.
Yeah, but we find that Jane, Heimdall, Daredevil, and the Destroyer have been left behind to guard Asgard and the Bifrost.
Right.
Because basically, Daredevil has reactivated the Bifrost, allowing the other teams to go forth.
Yeah.
And, like, hit everything on, like, a multi-front sort of attack.
Yes.
We have Cap, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Luke
Iron
Cage,
Fist
and Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Which is, like, I love this team.
Oh, yeah,
honestly.
this is the new Avengers.
This is such... Yeah, it really is.
It's just the new Avengers, which is exactly up my alley.
Yeah, this is such a great team because you have a lot of the seriousness, but then you have it, like, undercut with folks like Spider-Man, Luke Cage, and even Iron Fist to some degree.
Yep.
But they're thrown into Jotunheim.
Yep.
And in Jotunheim, they ride Pegasi, as you said. I don't know if that's actually the correct...
I think so.
Okay. In order to get from point A to point B, which Luke questions, he's like, don't we have, like, snowmobiles?
Right.
We're the Avengers?
But we're in Jotunheim. How else are we
and that's what they basically say. They're like, how often do you get to go, like, rescue a god from, like, giants?
Yeah.
We're riding the flying horses.
Right.
Okay, we're doing that.
Even if they could be speared.
Yes, which they do. But we also see that a lot of our team has taken up arms of Asgard.
Yes.
They've got swords and capes and shields.
Yeah, they all kind of got, like, fun little, like, upgraded
Except for
outfits.
Wolverine.
And Luke Cage, who's like, no.
No, Luke took a hammer.
Yeah, he took a hammer, but he didn't change his outfit.
No, he didn't change his outfit at all. He's just like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Wolverine has nothing.
A cowboy hat.
Yes, well, I think he came with that.
Yeah.
I love Spider-Man in the helmet and the shield, and he's just like, I like that joke. I know you don't
that
like
moment where he says, quick, everybody get behind my shield. Well, because he's, like, ragging on the shield the whole time.
Well, he's ragging on the shield. He's just like, who carries just a shield? And
Oh, right. Cap, you do that all the time. Oops.
Cap, I'm just telling you right now. I'm just saying, you'd be a lot more effective if you had, like,
a spear or a sword. Something sharper. Except Spider-Man never does that.
No.
Except for his stingers, which nobody talks about.
Right. But I think I like this, like, this dynamic that this group has, again, with their history.
Yeah.
Just in general, a lot of them having worked together in the past. It's a lot of fun. It's really cool. And so their job is to find Thor. When they get there, they're like, how can we possibly find him? And Wolverine's like, well, we could follow the river of ice giant blood. Like, it's a literal river.
Yes.
Going through Jotunheim.
So cool.
And so which they do until they find, like, you're, like, screaming and such. Mm-hmm. But then we go over to Svartalheim. Svartalheim.
Yep.
The Dark Elf realm, where basically Freya, She-Hulk, Ghost Rider, Punisher, and Blade are undercover.
Yes.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, I love Frank playing ball and being undercover. By the way, this is your Savage Avengers. this is the most savage characters. They actually are a team.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is your Savage Avengers team.
I would actually switch out this Ghost Rider.
Oh, easily.
He's a
but
little
like,
less.
Robbie, man, like, stay on your Avengers. The book I'm not reading. But like, yeah, no, Savage Avengers not for lack of a real Ghost Rider.
Look, I don't mind Robbie, but if you're talking Savage Avengers, I would not put Robbie on that team.
He ain't savage.
No, not necessarily. I'm sure he has had his moments.
He's had his moments, but
I don't associate him necessarily with just that.
Certainly not.
Anyway, they essentially Freya's like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. Blade, me, and Frank are gonna dress up like dark elves. She-Hulk, keep your head down. You're a troll.
Yes.
And Robbie, get down, like get tiny. You're a little like fire
goblin or whatever.
Thing. Yeah. We got this. This
Yeah.
is totally going to be great, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she does all the talking because she knows, A, how they speak and all that. But then they start, like, the other Dark Elves start asking questions of the other folk because, like, Frank's really tall. Yeah. And so he's, like, too tall, along with Blade, I guess, to be a Dark Elf.
Yep.
And their cover is not even blown.
No, Frank.
Well, for Frank's just like, forget it.
Frank is the greatest line in the entire book, I think. Because he says, I asked him, what clan are you from? And Frank says, my clan is dead and so are you. And then just blows them away. Which is complete badassery. Like, that's the kind of stuff, like, Jason Aaron plays a lot with, like, continuity and character, but, like, these moments he gets.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Blade this whole time has not wanted to do this. He wanted to just go in swinging. And so he's just like, no, this is cool. And he, starts swinging away. And, like, Freya's like, okay, Robbie, call in your
Call in
steed.
your supercar.
Yeah.
So
and
he
the car
does.
comes in. And that is a cool image of them riding on it. I am so... Again, I'm not against Robbie at all.
No.
That being said, how much more badass would
Would
it
have
have
been
been
with a motorcycle.
a motorcycle just charging through...
Or if the Ghost Rider was riding a Pegasus.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was a skeleton Pegasus that was made of fire.
Oh, all right, hang on. Let's one up that. Take that Pegasus, we'll make it two Pegasus and a chariot.
Right. Yeah, chariot of literal fire. Hellfire.
Yeah.
That would be friggin' amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, that didn't happen.
No, that a way cooler moment did not happen, but instead they
That's
still
okay.
like punch some people.
It is a cool moment, and they ride through Svartalfheim.
Yep.
And again, on their way to the Black Bifrost.
Mm-hmm.
We check in with Malekith, who's made his way over to Europe.
Yep.
Because like each of the bad guys is splitting up the world basically and forming their own new realms. We see Black Knight there, and the fact that Malekith has the ebony blade.
Which is cool. Cool reference.
Yeah, and like he's a dark elf, so he's like, I should have. This really goes with my aesthetic.
Right, exactly.
This is on brand for me.
Yeah,
so.
and it's an important sword.
It is. There's also that, but also how often do you get something that is so crucial but also on brand?
Yes.
Like never.
No, it's true.
But people are like heroes are still there on Earth, and so the War Avengers like ride in.
Yeah, I assume this is a title.
I guess so.
I mean, like they certainly are very branded, but like, yeah, it's a team of characters I couldn't care less about. I mean, you got Captain Britain and Deadpool teaming up with Venom and Hulkverine, and it's like,
But Sif's there and Captain Marvel, and you got like
and Winter Soldier.
and they go running and they're doing their thing, right?
Yeah.
And basically, the important like moment here is that Venom goes after Malekith.
Yes.
And he turns the ebony blade on him.
Right.
And that causes he and Malekith to
Disappear.
disappear. And we do see a little teaser later on that like indicates what has happened to Venom.
Yeah.
But that Malekith has also been like conversing with the symbiote.
Yeah.
I'm like, about what?
about like the god of symbiotes.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting. I was like, that's kind of cool.
No, it's true.
Meanwhile, Daredevil, or like God without fear, realizes he can hear everything that's going on. He initially is having a hard time focusing, does a better job of it, but then realizes that they're under attack as well. And so like Jane's like, we have to keep them from destroying the Bifrost, otherwise our friends can't come back.
Right.
So they all laid siege to the Dark Elves who have come through with like bombs on them, essentially.
Yeah, they're basically Helm's Deeping it up.
Yeah, they're
literally
swamp
Helm's
bombs.
Deeping.
Yeah,
one of them literally does the Helm's Deeping.
They
I'm
do,
like,
but like it's all of them.
Right.
It's like if all of the Urukai had that. Which actually, why didn't they?
Yeah. Well, let's not.
Except that I don't think the Urukai actually had them on them. They brought it in.
They
installed it.
Yeah, they installed the bomb and then they had to light it.
Then they had the Olympic torch runner come
Yes.
in. But we get to see the Fantastic Four too, because we go all over the world to see the different realms who are attacking Earth and like the champions who are fighting against them.
Yes.
And the Fantastic Four are pretty much handling all of Manhattan.
Right, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Although I do gotta say it's fun to see Chip Zdarsky as Reed Richards. Just literally just Chip Zdarsky's face, but with Doctor Strange hair. There's also that great moment of Sue using the invisibility to like create spikes in the Frost Giant's foot, which like really a cool visual.
It is a really cool visual. I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting shades of Blue Turtle Shell, which you don't mess with. That's why that guy went down.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But it's fun, and we get a lot of like kind of backstory narration going on. It's like it's very cool because it is spoken in the way of like the oral tradition of like kind of like Norse storytelling in a way, but told about our modern day heroes.
Exactly.
And like that's really neat. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
By the time Freya and team get to the Black Bifrost, the actual Bifrost is overwhelmed because one guy gets past as Daredevil is unable to control all that he is hearing and seeing.
Yeah, he screws the pooch.
He does. It's not really his fault. He can't help it. He's doing the best he can.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have enough guys.
No.
They need like one more guy.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bifrost is destroyed. Over with Freya, She-Hulk has been pounding in order to get herself more gamma irradiated, essentially, so that she could use herself as a bomb to destroy the Black Bifrost.
Right.
Freya feels like Obi-Wan feels the death of Alderaan. She feels the destruction of the Bifrost and is like, hold. We can't do this. If we destroy the Black Bifrost, our friends will be stuck.
We can't use any magic bridges to get to different realms.
Now instead, the new plan is we're going to hold this position.
Yes.
And so She-Hulk's like, right on.
Yeah.
I got all this gamma radiation built up. Why waste it?
Exactly.
And she like lets loose on the like crocodile cannons that are coming at them.
Yes.
Which is a really great visual to see there.
I was thinking like this actually might be a great continuity moment for them to be like, okay, like we did the Savage Hulk thing. We made like She-Hulk into a giant Hulk thing. Like, what if this is the moment where she like expels all this gamma radiation and then just like shrinks back down to
and gets like yeah, they could definitely.
It's funny how like every time they do a big moment, I'm like, oh, this is how they can put the genie back in the bottle and fix this one thing and like move on, and then like they never do, and then it's always a dissatisfying like continuity fix to do.
Right.
But, like hopefully they'll do that. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe there's like some sort of like rule where they don't like to do those big shifts in an event book as opposed to in the book itself.
There is no She-Hulk book.
I'm just saying. Back in Jotunheim, our new Avengers team is working their way towards the sound of screaming, which is the sound of Thor screaming.
Yes.
And when they get there, they're like, oh, like it's just beyond these mountains. And then they realize it's not mountains; those are dead frost giants.
Yeah.
And that Thor is atop it with a broken hammer.
And a missing arm.
And he is just covered in blood. And like Wolverine's like, I've seen this before. He's in a berserker's rage. We have to stay back.
Yeah.
Like, he's lost it.
Right, exactly.
I'm very familiar with this.
Yeah, I'm surprised Wolverine isn't like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. He's
but
like,
no, it's still great.
He's like, yo, berserker barrage. It's great.
That's my move. But yeah.
So you have our new Avengers here now having to deal with talking Thor down.
Yep.
From this precipice of rage-fueled like battle.
Armless Thor.
Yeah, it was just cool because like he just craves more frost giants be given to him. So he's still in the throes of battle. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next.
Totally. No, I think it's a great book.
Yeah.
And well, here's
the art.
Great moments.
Yeah.
The art hurts this book.
Really
because
does.
There's so many amazing moments that deserve to be like immortalized in awesomeness, and gone are the days of like better artists doing cool recreations of said events.
Yeah.
Like you won't get like a book that like remembers all these events and they're gonna get like amazing splash pages or like or card art.
Yeah.
So like we're kind of just stuck with Darman's version of this stuff.
Right.
That being said, some of it's fun to look at. So
and that's what's so like frustrating is like the last time I thought it was pretty consistent, and this time around there was just such an inconsistency, and I don't know if that's just.
I think it's just the crunch. I think
it could be the crunch. I mean, there's just this is a book on a grander scale, and I don't just mean because it's a War of Realms and all over the earth. I mean, like again, you're talking about sheer number of characters, and it's coming out on time for right now.
Yeah.
So I do have to give it a little forgiveness there. However, when it's in trade, people are going to be less forgiving.
Agreed.
I think, because they won't be waiting. It'll just be there.
Right.
So that is a shame, but I don't think it's enough for me not to desperately desire the next issue.
Absolutely,
of this book.
and I recommend it. Definitely.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited to see how this is all gonna turn around, because here's the thing: this is the kind of book where it's like, we're gonna win.
Right.
We're gonna win.
Yeah, it's not like Earth is gonna be. If they didn't let the Skrulls cohabitate with the humans in Secret Invasion, they're not gonna have like Asgard and Earth be merged into one place, and like South America's gonna be run by like whatever the Enchantress. It's gonna have to be going back to
which is like, for me, like, this is the kind of book that it's less about the like end, which I'm sure something will happen there that will be unexpected, but it is about the journey.
Yes.
Which I appreciate in Aaron's work.
Absolutely.
So.
No, Aaron's very much about living in the moment in the book.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. Caleb J. Villa says, The Heckler by Sal. It's an instant classic. He's recommending books I would do.
Yes.
I might consider doing a Heckler book. It would be like Freakazoid. Pricey8040 says, I just realized we live in a world where the general public knows more about Thanos than Darkseid. What a weird time to be alive. Agreed.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre. Caleb J. Villa says, where's Letters Page? Will it return? Yes, it will. The person who volunteered to edit the show has been very busy. So we haven't seen it yet, but there are 2 episodes filmed.
Do I have the files? Yes.
I mean, like, they're just sitting there, so.
Oh, okay. As long as they're there, then I'll get on it.
Yeah, but
because they weren't there the last time.
Right, but there are 2 episodes that are in the hopper ready to get cut.
Yes.
So
it's my fault.
It's okay.
I admit it. Well,
Jordan,
the first time it was your fault.
Yes.
And then it was my fault.
Jordan Cooper says, hey guys, just wanted to send you some love your way. Thanks for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you're doing, Jordan.
Thank you.
Wondrous History of Classic Film gave us a very, very kind and generous super chat. And says, very odd issue here. I love Fantastic Four, and I'm so glad they're back. Also, my 3-year-old daughter, Karen, says hi. Hello, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Hey, Karen, welcome to the show. We'll try to reduce the amount of cursing that normally happens on the other shows. Make sure this is a family-friendly episode for you.
Yes.
But yeah, it's very odd. But right, that moment where the Fantastic Four show up, I didn't see that coming.
No.
And it was also, and it's funny because it felt like the moment where they finally returned the Fantastic Four to the Marvel Universe, but like they've been back for a year.
Yeah.
It was still really like welcome. It was a welcome sight.
Right. Well, it's just nice that they're like comfortable and casually just letting them be there and fighting and participating without having to think more about it, which is really lovely. Instead of just being like, man, it would have been cool if the Fantastic Four were here. Oh, there they are.
Like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
It's like they're defending all of Manhattan. That's really cool. Lanework says, hey, made a new friend in real life through ComicPOP. Thank you. Thank you, man. I'm so glad to hear that. What a nice story.
I love that.
I'm so glad. Mr. Roboto, how long till Weapon H and Honey Badger crossover? If Weapon H sold, I would say, like, inevitably. But, like, listen, Marvel Team Up is now a book.
Yes.
And they're not going to have Spider-Man in it all the time. Anytime. I feel like that's inevitable. Well, not inevitable, but it would make sense.
There you go.
Another book I want to recommend, we're going to talk a little bit about, is Ninja Turtles Batman 3, Chapter 3.
Yeah.
The third in the apparently trilogy, although there is a redheaded stepchild where it was like the animated versions crossing over,
right,
which I did not care for. This one is in the Batman Turtles chronology,
yes,
by James Tynion IV and Freddie E. Williams II. It involves amalgam. They merged the Bat universe and the Ninja Turtle verse.
Yeah.
And it turns out that, like, you know, it's all the machinations of another amalgamed version of the teams.
Yes.
Spoiling the last page, the Anti-Monitor puts Krang in his tummy.
Or Krang puts on the
Anti-Monitor, but the idea is that the story's called Crisis in a Half Shell. And Krang has, like, nefarious plans for the Turtles and the Batverse.
Yes.
And so as such, you see the Bat family, you see, like, Red Hood and Raphael, they're one character.
Obviously.
Donatello and Tim Drake, perfect sense.
Yeah.
You got Leonardo and Nightwing, yes. And I guess Michelangelo is just wearing Damien's costume. There's no Damien in him. But Batman also has a tether to Damien where he's like, because Batman is his own character as well. He has no allegory.
Well, you know what's funny is, like, they're very specific in saying the young man with dark hair.
Yeah.
They're all young men
They're
with
all
dark hair.
yeah, but they all have allegories. Like they're all merged with turtles.
No, I just meant like in his dreams. Like
That's
his
true.
tether to that may not be
I
exactly
think it's
to him.
I think it's absolutely his biological son, which is the problem with giving him one. But let's not get into it.
I just like that idea that like it's just like no, they've all been that.
Yeah,
so.
like all of my children have been dark-haired.
Right,
boys.
and that way when he comes back and like it's in the regular, like he's in his regular Batman universe, they can be like, "How did you figure it out?" "Oh, I had a dream of a young man with dark hair," and they can all think it's them.
Right.
He just
exactly.
won't say it.
No, he'll just keep it to himself.
Yeah.
Anyway, the idea is that like the universes are merged. Batman needs to figure it out. He feels that there's a connection.
Right.
And so they're gonna figure it out. That's it.
Right, no, but there is another level to it in which Krang is aware of the multiverse, and there is another like universe represented in this issue.
Yes, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought that was almost more like a stronger reveal than the Krang anti-monitor, but only because you told me about the Krang anti-monitor thing. You didn't tell me about the other reveal.
Yeah.
That like there is an unseen character who shows
God.
up.
Yes.
And like they're very aggressive, and they grab like a trench coat, and you're like, who the hell is this? Everybody's been represented here. I don't understand. And at the end, this character takes the trench coat off and reveals it's Raphael, but from the Eastman.
And Laird original Mirage series.
Like,
so he's
black
black and white,
white.
he's sketchy, and he's violent. That's such a great reveal.
Yeah, but Krang has been seeking him out.
Yeah.
Like this, like Krang has been hunting him.
Right.
For whatever reason, which I dig that. Like, yeah, we got the amalgam thing going on, but there's something else happening as well. And I'm like, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? Like, what is Krang's ultimate plan here?
Yeah,
Is he
what is he
destroying
doing?
multiverse? Is he collecting things from multiverse? I don't know. Neat.
But yeah, I recommend it. I think it's fun. I don't think it's as good like as the first two.
That's fair. Because this definitely seems more like a stunt kind of thing. The idea of combining the characters at this point, just just to be like, hey, we're doing something totally different. Like they visited one world, they visited the other world. So now what else could we possibly do? We'll just mix them together. That way we're doing something new.
We do everything we could do.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's fine.
And like, but there could be more to this. I don't know. Like I thought it was more fun to read than I thought it was going to be.
Right, and I'm not going to sell them short. These guys know what they're doing by now.
Yeah.
And I hope it's not the last because I like seeing Batman and the Turtles together.
Yeah.
If you haven't already, watch our sister show Bat Issues, in which we talk about Batman and TMNT #2.
Yeah.
And we talk all about that and how much fun it is and how much we love it. So check that out. I'm just going to very briefly talk a little bit about Cosmic Ghost Rider Destroys Marvel History.
Okay.
This is by actually, hang on a minute. It's by Paul. We're all going to read it together here. Zoom in.
Never.
Paul Scheer and Nick Giovanetti and Nathan Stockman. This book is ridiculous and great. The conceit is Cosmic Ghost Rider goes back in time to right before the castles are murdered.
Mm-hmm.
He shows up on the doorstep of the castles. Frank's busy, and he pretends to be Frank's uncle. And he hangs out with the kids and realizes he's a crappy father and his children are going to grow up to be bad, like to be garbage.
Oh, Frank is?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's like, oh my God, I'm doing a bad job. Or I will be doing, like, I did a bad job.
Right.
And then they're going to die anyway. So he's going to try and fix that, but he's also trying to, like, teach them life lessons by talking about all the times that Cosmic Ghost Rider, like, interrupted Marvel continuity or took the place of other characters in these stories.
Okay.
First two are more Spider-Man stories. This one's an X-Men story through and through, and it's basically just a love letter to X-Men continuity. At one point, they do a flashback to the Phoenix Saga. Cosmic Ghost Rider gets the Phoenix Force. Right before the Shi'ar. Anyway, it goes back to Jean. It's a whole thing. It's really, really funny. It's genuinely funny.
Okay.
And if you are a continuity buff, you will really enjoy it.
Okay.
Especially if you read comics, like if you are an X-Men fan,
right,
and you love like the new X-Men from Morrison, you love like the classic Claremont era, and there's even a throwback to the Confederacy of Dunce's Garth Ennis like story arc, which is pretty fun, and it involves Wolverine getting his face blown off and getting run over by a steamroller. It's a lot of fun. This book is great. I can't recommend it highly enough. I think if you're just looking for fun, just having a good time in Marvel, and if you're like a sucker for Cosmic Ghost Rider, like I know many of you are, then you can't afford not to grab this book.
That's fair.
So check it out. A. Lopez says, I saw Comic Story and Multiverse Talk is cool, but I hope the X-Men and Fantastic Four are in the same universe, not 3 different timelines happening at the same time. You guys rock. Benny's starting to dabble in doing like kind of like what we're doing. And so I think that's really sweet, and I think it's nice to see, but ultimately, no one's going to do it better than us. I do have a theory apropos our Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. You got to watch the trailer if you haven't already, and if you haven't seen Endgame, what are you doing? But don't watch the trailer if you haven't seen Endgame. It'll spoil everything within the first 2 seconds of the trailer.
They did warn that. They said
They did. They actually, Tom Holland, of all people, comes up and says, hey, don't spoil it, because he's the guy who spoils everything. Yeah. So I think it's cute. But so check that out. I have a great theory. I'm thinking about making a video about my theory for Homecoming. We'll see.
Do it.
So Savage
Hang
Avengers.
on, wait. I was going to say, before we get into things that people really want to hear about, let's talk about something that fewer people want to hear about.
Okay. Yeah.
We're just very quickly, I'm not going deep into this, but those of you who've been following The Dreaming, number 9 came out last week. I actually kind of missed it coming out.
Yeah, well, because I didn't see any fanfare about this series, and the last issue was one of the best. So
it really, really was. That was the second part of a 2-parter that I really enjoyed. That like basically gave the artist a little break.
Yeah.
We're back now. We're back in the main story of The Dreaming, in which Daniel Hall is missing, and when like this weird moth baby Dora the Explorer creature that is basically a program has been birthed into the Dreaming, and it doesn't know what to do, and everyone just keeps demanding things of it. It's like, wait, fix this and this and this, and it's like,
yeah.
And like basically ends up using Dora, who has been very important to everything since she can move between realms, using her to track down Dream.
Right.
By using the Baku, those Dream Eaters, those Dream Hunters.
Yeah.
They basically avatar it. Like, you know how, like, the Shearshoe with the smell?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can smell him. So, she rides it and tracks after him, taking Matthew the Raven with her.
Cool.
And we run into a character who fans of Sandman would know, Nuala, who is one of the Fae folk. She was basically gifted to Morpheus.
Okay.
And she kind of fell in love with him. She basically served as, like, a maid kind of thing.
Right. Not really the most
well, he wasn't digging it.
No.
He was just like, that's cool. But she's very much like thought he was great.
Sure.
But she's back in her own realm, that kind of thing. And like, it's like, did he come here? And he's like, yeah. And then we get the story of him coming here because he went to go speak with the Queen of the Fairy Folk, Titania.
Okay,
who was
why?
also because like he needed her to watch some of his stuff because he was going someplace where he could have no possessions. And it ends up being this whole like trick, as like you would see from Morpheus in a way. I was like, that's kind of cool. And
Yeah.
Daniel Hall being kind of crafty.
Yeah.
So it's just neat. It's just very, very neat. This series I think has been gaining strength.
Yeah.
As it's been going on. So especially as we are basically delving into more Sandman lore. So just digging on it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, check it out.
Yeah.
Sandman's a good book, and if you haven't already, Tiffany did a video for DC fans back in the day about it. So check that out over there, I guess.
Yeah,
more. Actually, there's a better video where you talk about who Daniel Hall is on this channel. So.
Yeah, that's right. Because
just
all of a sudden Danny Hall was like back,
it
and
was
I was
really
like,
important.
Really?
Yeah. So
right.
Here's a book that I'm sure you read. It's called
did.
Savage Avengers
I
number
did.
1.
Are you kidding me?
By Jerry Duggan and Mike Deodato Jr. As I understand it, Deodato Jr. is not going to be doing anything anymore. Like, he's leaving Marvel.
Okay.
But he got to do this book.
Sure. That's great. Now, let's be honest. I read this book because my brain read it was Savage Avengers, and then I was like, that means there's more than 2 people on a team, but the rest of it just said, like, it's Wolverine and Conan, and I was like, nice!
Yes, and that's what this book is.
I don't care about it.
Yeah, like, oh boy, Venom.
That's fine. Here's the thing. It'll all be good, but I was like, a Wolverine Conan book.
Right.
That's a great story.
That's a great idea, but also there's Brother Voodoo.
Yes. Which I was like, what?
Oh.
Sure, man.
Yeah.
Why not?
So, you want to tell us about it?
Oh, okay. This is a Savage Land story, like through and through in a way. We got dinosaurs, we got magic, we got warriors and fighting and all this stuff. Essentially, there is like some deep dealings going down in the Savage Land that require a giant bowl filled with blood. And, like, you're dealing with Conan, you're dealing with blood.
This
all
feels,
right?
and I believe the idea is that there's a cult that's operating the Savage Land, and
Yes.
they are clearly from Conan's universe.
Yes,
because this is not a cult you would normally encounter in the Marvel universe, and they're like really they're a lot more hardcore.
No, they definitely indicate that like the main sorcerer is from there because Conan recognizes the scent of like Hyborian scents, basically. But I'm just saying, just in general, like right now in Aaron's Conan book, he's dealing with like this Crimson Witch or Scarlet, or no, Crimson Witch, not Scarlet. Well, he did deal with her too.
He did too. Yeah.
Well, they almost dealt with each other, but like that has to deal with a blood god.
Right.
So now we have this blood bowl naturally because I'm like, look, it's Conan.
Blood.
Yeah,
they're filling the bowl with the blood of like all these of the most talented or intelligent people they could find.
Yes, but also they're going to need great warriors. So cut to Conan like slashing his way through the Savage Land where the Hand are there because the Hand are assisting this sorcerer in gathering these individuals who will bring forth this like impending doom. There's like heaven basically. There's something will come, but there's something beyond Pluto.
Well, they always think that like it's funny because they
always think it's all going to work out.
They all think it's going to work out. These cultists, man, they're always talking about how they're going to resurrect this dark god.
Yeah.
And the dark god's going to show up, and the dark god's going to totally be cool with them and not just slaughter them
Yeah.
like they did last time they did that. Literally, this guy tells the story about how like they
didn't go well.
and they were like, well, maybe we didn't fill the bowl big enough.
Well, they say like they didn't get the best quality, and so like he is using the Hand to get the best quality. We see like an opera singer. He is slain, and his body is thrown into the bowl for the god.
Yeah.
Right. Conan's ripping apart some Hand who are in the Savage Land, and he's about to finish one of them off when like he brings his sword down. It's like clang, and it turns out that Wolverine is there.
Yeah.
And then like Wolverine and Conan fight because Conan's like, I don't know who you are. Wolverine's like, look, I'm not here to fight you. You're obviously not like Wolverine's actually the more reasonable of the two.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So Conan and Wolverine like have this back and forth essentially where it's just like, you can't hit me. Like he hits Wolverine right in the head with his sword. It's just like doink.
Yep.
Sorry. That was adamantium, man. Wolverine does rip into him a little bit. Conan gets the upper hand, seemingly, at least for him in any normal fight, stabs Wolverine in the heart. He's just like, you died a warrior's death, cool, whatever. And then
Wolverine gets back up.
he's just like, sorry, man.
Yeah.
It's just not
and
how
then they
it
team
works.
up.
Well, at first they fall, which I love that because they both fall.
Yes.
And like Wolverine's almost like, I can't believe this dude's still alive. What the hell?
I know.
Like, what? Mm-hmm. They totally are fine. They, like, Conan's like, I'm here because I hear there's great treasure, and I want that. Don't take my treasure. And
No,
Wolverine's
'cause he's
like,
all
dude,
about
I'm not
that.
here for treasure.
Right.
I'm here for something else.
I'm a superhero.
I don't care
believe
about
it or
treasure.
not.
Yeah, like, I know I don't look like that, but it's cool.
It
Conan,
basically, to quote Mr. Sunday, they fight for a while and then they're mates.
Yeah, that's really what happens. But, like, Conan drops the Avengers. He name drops the Avengers.
Yes.
He's just like, and Wolverine's like, they would leave someone like you here. Cool.
Yeah.
No, that seems right for the Avengers. Meanwhile, Brother Voodoo has been called to Madripoor.
Yes.
Because, Mom?
Right? Yeah, I don't remember.
He also calls her you, I think.
Yeah.
Her son's missing. And, like, Brother Voodoo was supposed to come because basically she made a deal. The Hand would give her back her son if she got Brother Voodoo to come. And so he's just like, that's all good and well, but, like, obviously I'd come prepared. He's totally taken by surprise, brought before the sorcerer. They have a back and forth where, like, he's just like, you're not going to get the better of me. I'm Brother Voodoo. And he's just like, I'm going to kill you.
Yep.
First, hang on. First, let me tell you my whole backstory about having tried to do this before and how it totally failed. But here we go anyway.
Yep.
Conan, meanwhile, is breaking into a castle where he is seeking, like, an amulet.
Yeah.
And we see Venom, like, up in a cage. Like, and you can barely see it, and I kind of dig that. They're not making a big deal about it, but, like, that's...
But he's on the cover, so we know he's going to be in it.
He's going to be there. It's going to be great. Symbiote should just totally bail and go to Conan.
Oh, my God.
Except Conan wouldn't have any of that.
He wouldn't really have much of a choice, but
I guess not, right? We get a lot of Crom in this, which I really dig.
Yeah, and Wolverine says, F Crom and F you.
Yeah. Conan's like, hey, you're a follower of Crom too? No.
Right, yeah.
But essentially, Brother Voodoo almost seemingly gets his throat slit. But, like, he also seems to be on a cover, so obviously he's not dead. By the way, that blood god thing is, like, crazy.
It's crazy awesome.
It's crazy awesome, and, like, I assume we're going to see this thing at some point.
No doubt.
But
this is what Mike D'Antoni Jr. was born to draw.
It is badass, and I love it. At the end of the day, Wolverine shows up. He tries to stop the Hand. the guy does like rip out his throat.
Yep.
And then like the Hand are like, bring me another warrior, and like the sorcerer's like, bring me another warrior, and the Hand bring caskets in, and he's like, why would you bring me
why would you bring these dead
and he's like,
bounties?
trust me, this is just bait for, we're going to bring you the most savage warrior on the planet, the Punisher. And so what they did was they stole the caskets of his family.
Yes.
And I'm like,
which is like, okay,
that's like just inviting death to your door.
they've done it. By the
Right.
way, they did this to Frank. They did this to Batman. This is JLA Tower of Babel. This is that story where like the guy pees on the caskets of the family of the castles. That's fine. This is cool. You know what? Like, it's gonna get Frank to show up.
It is cool.
I'm fine.
What I
with
dig,
it.
I like this image. This is like beautiful image of like Frank just staring down into this, like
into the empty.
just being like, okay.
All right. Yeah. No, it's the moment where Frank finds out the first time, where this happened to him the last time, is just when you see his face find out about it, because they're reporting on it in the news and it's on like one of the CNN channels, and he's like, he's just look at his face of like, I've never seen anyone frown that much. He's just getting up. Like, it's just amazing.
Okay. Well, we're going back in.
It's cool. It's weird. It's very Conan, I think.
Yes, I definitely am getting more Conan vibes to it right now, especially dealing with a sorcerer.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, we are literally dealing with a sorcerer, a prophecy, blood, fighting, the whole thing.
Yep.
I think Conan's going to come in handy here.
Yeah.
But I think he's actually, like, I think he and the Punisher are going to get along really well.
I don't know.
Well,
I
I
think
just
it's because
mean
of
in
how
term-
quickly he and Wolverine got together.
I don't mean like that. I mean, like, in terms of goals.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, because Frank doesn't care about... Like, Conan is a barbarian,
Yes.
but he's also mostly a thief.
Yes, but he won't turn down a good fight.
No, that's true.
So,
Yeah. So, there you go.
just saying.
Do you recommend Savage Avengers?
I think I do. We'll that remains to be seen, I think. I mean, like, I dig it because Conan is in it. It is written by, it's Jerry Dugan.
Yeah, who's doing Savage Sword of Conan?
Savage Sword. So it is more akin to the Conan you find there, who is definitely much more a thief.
Yes.
So I think he will highlight that, but I don't think he, like, trust me, he's not going to shy away from the savage side
No.
to Conan.
I hope not. It
He's a
certainly
Savage
implies in
Avenger.
the title.
Yeah.
But yeah, by the way, in the super chats, KT83976 says, keep up the good work. Thank you very much, KT.
KT8.
Wookie Drew says, thoughts on the new Spider-Man trailer? Sorry if I'm late. You are, but that's no big deal. Happy to. Whoops, it's also sharing. Nope, I'm not. We're good. Sorry if I'm late. No, don't worry about it. The trailer, I loved it. I'm so excited for this.
I didn't watch.
We'll watch it, but it's very
What
exciting.
am I going to do? Go over there?
No, but we will watch it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, I recommend it. It's so good. I can't wait.
All right.
So yeah, to talk a little bit about Justice League.
Yeah, what's been going on? I'm so not on the boat for
Yeah,
this right
it's
now.
the Sixth Dimension. The idea is that like,
Oh, hey, what?
this is of course written by Scott Snyder with art by Jorge Jimenez.
Nice.
Great dream team. The stories. This is Justice League number 23, by the way. It's about the Sixth Dimension. The idea is that like, it's a mess. But before we get into that, let's talk about how great it is to see John and Superman together
Yeah, that's
again.
what I was saying.
It's a flashback.
Okay.
Because, John ain't a kid anymore, and it's ruined. But, like, Snyder wants to play with it. And so the idea is that, like, Superman's trapped in, like, a dead world, and he's far away from a sun, and he's basically gonna, like, die there, and he can't, like, get away from it, so he digs deep and remembers this, like, he has this memory of helping his son learn how to, like, make fire without using his powers.
Right.
And Superman has been he's been trapped there by what is seemingly a future Superman from a utopian world that succeeded against the Legion of Doom's plan to beat Perpetua and bring justice to the universe instead of Doom. Turns out it's all a ruse. The guy who would be Superman is actually like one of the elders who was in the previous issue, written by James Tynion IV, who was like one of the children of Perpetua, who's like in charge of managing stuff in a cosmic sense. And
Cosmic Manager. That's a pretty good bullet point on your resume.
I agree. The Justice League has been defeated. They were captured by seemingly Lois Lane of the multiverse. She's a team with like a bunch of like.
She looks like she rolled out of Mass Effect.
Yeah, she does. It's clearly they're big fans of Mass Effect, but like,
I don't know. Like she could look like a lot of things. It could,
But you know,
that's
you'll
just
be
the
the
vibe
judge.
I'm getting.
But yeah, Lois Lane is part of like a team of super cops who are also fighting the Justice League because the Justice League are clearly not on the up and up.
Okay.
And it's just the Justice League fight against their like the would-be heroes of this universe, because obviously like the idea is that like the future Justice League shows up and they're like, hey, come through this doorway and we'll show you how it works, and we're going to help you like learn how to win the fight and get this utopian future that we're all in. Kendra and Jean get together. They have a kid who's like a half Martian, half Hawk person, and the kid
It's kind of cool.
like hates the reality he is in because he knows it's all bullshit. He knows it's all fake. And so he like tries to like connect with Kendra and John of the true selves, and he's gonna be like the linchpin that gets the Justice League to get like over it.
Sure.
Meanwhile, in like the real world and not in the sixth dimension or whatever, like Starman and like the Legion of Doom or whatever are trying to stop Mxyzptlk, who's going to destroy the universe and bring things to entropy. The Legion of Doom unleashes what's his name, Batmite,
Yeah.
to battle against Mxyzptlk. So there's a
Are they
fighting
really
chance.
big?
Yeah, they're big monsters
They're
that
like kaiju versions
yes,
of them.
but also their battle is like, if you can see the art, is like unmaking the book. And it's like
I see
there's
that down there. Sorry, I was so focused on
on how
horror.
gross they look.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Mxyzptlk. There you go.
is like their battle is like unmaking the comic, and
That's really kind of cool.
once they're like done, it will like they'll be able to
amazing.
overwrite our reality and our universe with theirs, with their like phony baloney like bullshit.
Sure. Okay.
So anyway, they fight. And Batman was not put in prison because he's the one who like got to see how like while he died to bring about like while his version died to bring
Yeah.
about the utopia, like everyone else, his children are taken care of. So he's like, oh, okay, I'm in. And so the rest of the Justice League like breaks out of Arkham Asylum, or no, well, it's not Arkham Asylum, it's Apocalypse, but it's got all the asylum inmates in there. It's got like all the Bat villains, and they're all old and cool looking.
Does the Flash not have access to the Speed Force right now? I just
Well,
noticed
all their
he's-
powers are inhibited by power.
Okay. By the way, their kid, I thought it was like like older.
Mm-hmm.
He's really cute.
He's really cute. No, I love their kid. So the Justice League gets picked up by like essentially the Legion of Doom,
Oh.
and they have a
It's
great
like Mad Maxian versions of them.
Oh, absolutely. But they have this great moment where they're like, wait a minute, like if Cheetah, you're here, and Grodd, you're here, then who's flying the plane? And then an evil voice comes from the cockpit and says, it's simple. Darkseid is. Like in Mr. Miracle, where Darkseid is.
Yeah. I
Get it?
Yeah, I get it.
And it's cute and fun. I like that little moment. It was
Yeah.
funny, I guess. Meanwhile, the future, like the great cosmic manager guy is talking to Batman. He's like, so Superman managed to free himself, and because I'm a cosmic being, I can like move suns and stuff, but it needs to be you who makes the decision. And so like you need, because like the idea is that like whenever he's like, most cool stories that feature the two of you end with you guys fighting.
So
Dark Knight Returns. And so it needs to be you versus him. And so you need to be the one to move the suns away from Superman so he will die. But don't worry, because like when he does, his essence will exist. I'll absorb it, and so he'll live on a little bit in me. But like you need to be the one to kill him.
Oh.
And Batman's like, okay. So he moves the suns out of the way. And it's very sad, and it's actually really, really well written, where Batman's like, I wish I had, like, I have more to say. I wish there was something I could tell you, but for all I could, the only thing I can say to you right now is goodbye. And just leaves. And so Superman's like flying desperately towards the nearest sun, so he can absorb the energy and come back and save the day. But Batman moves the sun away from him. And so Superman is adrift in the cold vacuum of space.
Right, but that's okay. Vin Diesel's coming next, apparently.
Right. Yeah, because it's called Next is Pitch Black. I think that Batman's playing a larger game. He usually is.
Sure, he always is. Like he's
so
always
I think
got
he's
something up his
Yeah,
little
I think he's
back
going to
sleeve.
surprise this guy and kick his ass and team
Yeah.
up with Superman. But it's very like it's very
It's
heart wrenching,
heart-wrenching,
and
yeah.
it's excellently written, and it's brilliantly looking, and it's a really fun story. It's really cool. I think you got to check it out. I recommend it. It's a great book.
Okay, I really wasn't sure when you started with this if you were going to actually recommend it at the end.
No, I really recommend it.
Okay.
But it's so good. It's just
Sure.
crazy and cool, and I love it. And it's hard to like to do it on an issue by issue basis. It's more like a whole unrolling story. So
Okay.
because like after Hickman succeeded with Secret Wars, everybody was like, you all need to Hickman. You all need to Hickman it up. Set things up and then pay them off like years later. Aaron, you do it. Snyder, you do it. Everybody Hickman. So like Snyder is Hickmaning. Like
Everybody Hickman.
it's all Hickmaning. Caleb J. Villa says, excited for the Morbius movie. What about a Puma film? No. No to all of them. No across the board. How could I can't believe you're excited for a Morbius film. That being said,
are. They like it. Just because you are doesn't mean others aren't.
I just said I can't believe it. I didn't say
true.
don't be.
Okay.
But
I just wanted to be positive.
We talked about how like Morbius will succeed because like anybody who doesn't know who Morbius is will hear that there's a vampire in it, and so all the vampire people will see it. And when I say that, I mean vampire fans.
Yes.
I hate vampires, so I think they're stupid, but like people love vampires, and so as such, like the vampire fans will see Morbius, the comic book fans will see Morbius out of morbid curiosity, and that alone will succeed in Morbius. I think that like a Puma movie, a Silver Sable movie, a Black Cat movie, no, those movies will die, but like they will trick you into seeing Morbius.
Right.
That'll be the last one. But anyway, I hear what you're saying. I hope you enjoy it. It stars Jared Leto, my least favorite actor working today. The other book we're going to talk about is DCeased.
DCeased.
DC Zombies, written by Tom Taylor with arts by Trevor Hairsine, Stefano Gaudino, and James Harron. It's literally what you think it is. It's Marvel Zombies, but it's DC.
It's Marvel Zombies with a commentary on social media.
Yes. I don't know if you know this, everybody, but social media will turn you into a mindless zombie. It's basically Black Mirror and Marvel Zombies. The concept is Darkseid was a dick one time, as you can imagine, in like a story not too dissimilar from any other story you've read before. Mm-hmm. And he was distracting them so they could capture Cyborg, and then they manipulate the anti-life equation, and it turns into a zombie equation.
They make a new one. Like it's really like basically it's like Darkseid is part of the anti-life equation. They're pretty sure that Cyborg is the other part of it, but they're like, when we take the digital version of it and make it physical, it could kill Cyborg, which you'll lose the anti-life equation forever.
Yes.
So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna bring in
the Black Racer.
And so Darkseid takes him and like rips his arm off and attaches it to Cyborg because he's like, that way we can control this. It's gonna be great.
Right, because he has to listen to me.
Yeah, and like this is such a great idea because I obviously know how this is gonna turn out.
Right, because I know everything.
And like I guess the Black Racer, like his essence ends up corrupting the anti-life equation, which is bizarre.
Well, creates a new equation.
It does, but that should really make it like if you corrupt the anti-life equation, it should be the life equation.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Or it should default to a different. But
yeah.
In any event, so it does.
But it like wrecks Darkseid, and like he like you see him like desperately attempting to claw the anti-life equation out of his own head.
Mm-hmm. And at that point, Cyborg takes the opportunity to
bail.
Desaad sends him away.
Desaad's like, hang on, I'll fix this. Goodbye.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Master.
Right, exactly. So Cyborg gets to Earth. And he like links up.
He really picks up on the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and so he uploads the equation, and it's not too dissimilar from Final Crisis, where it's like everyone needs to see the equation.
Yes, but it gets tweeted out and like Instagrammed and like Gothamgrammed and like YouTubed and all this other stuff. And so, like, it spreads rapidly.
Yep.
Cyborg immediately tries to put a firewall around himself. Batman connects his computers to the intranet.
Yes.
And we see that, like, this is... I don't know where and when this is taking place because...
It takes place whenever.
Damian and John are hanging out together.
It's its own thing.
Yeah.
It's literally... it's injustice.
By the way, I really love seeing Damian and John hanging out at... the Kents.
Yeah, at their apartment in Metropolis.
Yeah, and it's really, really cute because they're, like, playing video games. Like,
yeah.
So, like... Lois is trying to find her phone, and that's such an adorable scene where, like, John doesn't want to get up to help his mom find his phone. So he's like, you're the world's greatest detective. You find it. You find the phone.
But it's like, no, don't look at the don't look at the phone.
And he's like, don't you have X-ray vision? So, like, they're doing that. Meanwhile, Superman has pieced together, or they all realize that that Cyborg was missing.
Yes.
Because Batman has been tracking part of his code because he's got apocalyptic
technology. Well, he's got the boom tubes. Yeah.
What are you talking about? I have to track him. And like we have a little like Tower of Babel kind of moment where they're like, "You're tracking him?
Yeah, you're tracking Cyborg.
Are you tracking all of us?" And he's just like, "No."
Yeah, obviously.
There's like
a
pause.
Yeah, he says no, and they're like, "Oh, I don't like that pause." And it's like, yeah, we've seen that
It's
scene
like,
1,000
dude,
times.
It's cool, fine, whatever. Get over it.
That's not what this
because
book
of
is.
Batman doing that, you're all gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Hopefully, except not this time around.
Nope.
But Superman goes immediately to Mr. Miracle and Big Barda because they're like, can you go and get him?
Yeah.
Would you be cool with that?
Right. Oh,
And
but
like,
what we left out was that like Darkseid leaps into the fires of Apocalypse, and the combined fires
that's
plus
right.
the new equation, it blows up Apocalypse. There is no more Apocalypse.
Yeah. So had they actually boom tube there,
They would have just ended up nowhere, like the Millennium Falcon when they're looking for Alderaan.
Exactly. Hey, that's 2 Alderaan references in this stream. It's the lingering effects of May the 4th. But while this is happening, Superman hears the screaming happening, goes out, sees that things have totally gotten messed up, and immediately goes home.
Right.
Because he's like, are they okay?
Yeah,
When
so
he gets there, they're like, John has the phone.
He destroys the phone with his heat vision.
Yeah, blows it up.
Breaks the TV.
Yeah.
And
Which, by the way, dude, they didn't get to save their game.
No.
That's lost.
Yeah.
Whatever they were doing, that's over. Mm-hmm. I feel bad.
Right.
But Damian grabs a radio and he tries to use it and he can't. And like he starts to get a little concerned, which I dig this version of Damian, who's just like, he's probably all right. He always has contingencies, but the phone, like the radio's not working. And like Lois is like a motherly figure towards him. She can't help herself. She's just like, it's Batman.
You're
He's
gonna be
okay. All right, like So
right.
they piece
the reason why Damian can't get to him is because Batman realizes that like there's still a connection to the house.
Yeah.
And so he activates an electromagnetic pulse, which cancels out everything in the house, and that's why Damian can't reach him because he's like, I can't even reach him on like the analog.
Yeah. So like something's wrong.
But Lois is cool.
But yeah, Lois is really cool, and I really dig her like motherliness. I love the fact that he's wearing a Batman shirt.
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of cute. Like I dig this like kind of laid back version of him. Batman checks in on Gotham by using analog cameras to see what's going on. He sees that his city is falling apart.
Yep.
Again, pre the EMP, when he hits the EMP, he does so because he realizes that like Tim
and Dick are in the house.
And Alfred are in the house. And he's like, oh my God, I left that connected. He goes back up into Wayne Manor where like he is screaming for everybody and he comes upon Alfred who's like trying to keep Tim at bay. And I think
and
Dick as well, both of them. And Alfred's like, I don't know. I don't want to hurt them, obviously.
Yeah.
But they end up overwhelming Batman.
Right. Yeah.
Because this thing is not only transferable via technology, but it's also in the blood.
Yes. Because it's a zombie story.
It's the rage infected.
Right. So it's 28 days later, but it's DC.
Yeah. So like Batman's infected. Seemingly.
Right.
Unless because he's Batman.
No, he's infected.
Yeah.
And I think they think they're being smart with it because they're like, we gotta get Batman off the table.
You gotta take him off the table.
Because otherwise the story's gonna be about Batman.
Well, it's also like Batman's gonna come in the clutch.
Right, and he can't.
Yeah,
we need it to be that he can't.
Right. So maybe Damian will have to.
Yeah, maybe.
They'll be like, Damian, what would your dad do?
Right. So
not talk to you?
Exactly.
Sulk? I don't know.
But
call my mom.
So DCeased, I don't care about any of this.
I really,
I couldn't be excited about it.
No,
I've seen it 1,000 times.
I liked my favorite part was literally the normal day-to-day stuff.
Right. It's more like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if Tom Taylor could write like a Super Sons book or a Damian book?
Yeah, like I just really enjoyed that. But overall, it's just like, I mean, maybe in trade it might be worth a peek.
Yeah.
But honestly, the art was so cartoony, which I found to be like the heavy outline on a lot of the art kind of pulled away from like the horror elements of it. I know it was meant to be grotesque and sometimes they get concerned about it going too grotesque, but like it just felt so heavily like outlined that it bordered cartoony for me. So
yes.
I
thought it
wished it was a little stronger art-wise.
Yeah, I think it wanted to be more like Sean Gordon Murphy art, and they just missed the mark. I thought the art was fine. I didn't actually complain about it as much as I was just like, I don't care about what it's depicting.
Right.
I've seen it so many times. I was like, you're doing a zombie book now?
Yeah.
Like now?
Yeah, well, it's just, you know what, for me right now it's so bizarre because they're doing that and they're doing a whole bunch of other things in terms of like events involving like all the Justice League characters.
Yeah.
That I was like, why?
Right.
Like why have
Who asked for this now?
Yeah, why have these concurrent stories going?
Yeah.
And like here's an idea. This should have been a Black Label book.
Yeah.
Because if it were a Black Label book, you immediately know it's outside of continuity and the art could have gone balls to the walls.
Well, here's
basically.
the thing. When it is collected, it will be. Because they don't, because
Probably.
Black Label means nothing.
But I'm just saying, like, that would have been really fun. They could have played with the imprint size
Yeah.
itself. Like, I feel like this story at its core would have been perfect for it.
It's made for it.
Yeah.
And in fact, every book we read that had a DC label on it also had a, like, 8-page preview of a Black Label book, a book specifically made for the Black Label line before they gutted it. Because that was what happened. Capullo and Snyder were working on this back when Bermejo and Azzarello were working on Damned before they had to redo everything, which is why the book is so heavily delayed. And so, like, that's like a true ass Black Label book that you can pick up that will be coming out, I think, at the end of the month. But they had a big preview in there, and so you got to read that, and it looks like the kind of thing you'd expect from them.
Yeah.
Looks very standard. Batman, it's all been a dream. I've never seen that before. That being said, it's Snyder and Capullo. Obviously, like, well, not obviously, but like, I want to believe that we're in a world where they wouldn't have greenlit it if it wasn't really cool. Like, you know what I mean? If it wasn't like something new that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then I'm like really excited. And the art looks great. Capullo's got to do whatever he wants.
Oh, yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, DCeased feels like an afterthought.
It does. I mean, like,
Especially with 2 artists on 1 issue.
I think there were 3.
3 artists, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think this was a pitch they had, and they thought it was solid, but like
They just never had a good time to
This isn't
release
the
it.
time.
No.
And it's not the imprint.
No. I don't know what this is.
They took the teeth out of Black Label, and so like
Yeah, this is either an Elseworlds book or a Black Label book, but it's neither.
Yeah.
Who the hell asked for this? That being said, like, the Capullo cover's great. The alternate covers, like all the horror movie parody covers, are really solid.
Yeah.
Like, the idea around it, like, DC Zombies. Except when Marvel Zombies came out, they did Blackest Night, which is kind of like what DC Zombies was supposed to be.
Right.
But, like, no, let's actually do it again.
Yeah.
It feels like, who asked for this? Not me. I don't recommend it because I don't want to encourage this kind of book.
Yeah.
It's too bad because Tom Taylor's a great writer. I want to encourage him on DC books, or any book for that matter. He's a good writer. But, pass. Can't get excited for it.
That's fair.
I'm going to recommend a couple books for you right now before we jump into the rest.
I think we do have a super chat, though.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I think
that's right. I'm
super
sorry.
chat
We do have a
before
super chat. What was it? Stark Mad 91 says, this sounds like the perfect Swamp Thing story.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Swamp Thing would be very unaffected by most of
There's no
everything
question.
going on in this.
There's no question Swamp Thing will be in this.
You think?
Oh, easily.
Well, obviously, when they go out to like Amish land, Pennsylvania Dutch land,
I'm sure they'll go
because
to a
that's
place
really where
that's
you
like.
need to go.
I'm sure they'll go to a place like they'll seek refuge in like.
The Fortress of
garden.
Solitude, or
I was gonna say like a garden.
Oh,
like it'll
okay,
be like
yeah.
an overgrown place.
I was gonna say that maybe they'll try to make it out that Smallville doesn't have much in the way of internet.
I would like to see it where this is just a pitch, but like where there are 2 battles going on.
Yeah.
And then like one is this infection, the other one is the Swamp Thing's gonna take over the Earth. He's like, screw it,
Why not?
I'll take it.
Yeah.
And they're like, no.
I was going way more comical there, where it's like, you know, we'll just have Ma Kent. She's there. Who cares? But that like it's just, you know, that becomes the new like Hall of Justice. Is like the Kent farmhouse.
That'd be great.
It's just her like.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, like that's very Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
So yeah, jumping into books, I have 2 books.
That's funny because I have 1.
Nice. Symbiote
sure
Spider-Man #2 from Peter David and unfortunately by Greg Land. The book is cool and fun. It's set during the time of the alien costume.
I've got 2.
Misunderstanding between Spider-Man and Mysterio results in there being like some camaraderie. It's a neat idea. It's the worst title that a Spider-Man book's had in a long time, but like a Symbiote Spider-Man, pass. But that being said, the book is fun, and it will be in trade. It'll be like a Mysterio book you can pick up that has Spider-Man in it, because there aren't many of those, if any of those, that where there's a story arc, a whole arc about Mysterio.
Right.
And they need that. because he's in the movie.
Yeah, so you better
Pick it up.
You better get out there and.
It's weird they said it during that time. Interesting. I'm excited to see why they did that.
Right.
Also, Justice League Volume 2 is going to be in trade, Graveyard of the Gods. So, or Graveyard of Gods.
Right. Okay.
So that's neat. It's a great, series. So, Justice League. Check it out. Justice League. What do you got?
Mine are both Marvel. Savage Sword of Conan #5 is coming out by Jerry Dugan. So if you are digging on the Savage Avengers and you want to see more of Dugan writing Conan, that's the book for you. It's Conan being a thief with like a team up, and like now he's on to getting vengeance.
Yes. And it's not in the Marvel universe.
No.
Like it Marvel books.
No.
Because like after the big after the big Avengers story.
Yeah.
Conan went to the Savage Land. He's in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
But those 2 Conan books are set in.
Yeah. So either this is saying that we're just telling Conan stories, or they're saying like Conan's going back at some point, because these stories are Conan, Savage Sword of Conan and Conan the Barbarian are taking place at different times in Conan's life.
Right.
So this could be before he went and became an Avenger, or after, or not at all, and it's just a totally different Conan. It remains to be seen. But I'm guessing at some point Conan will be put back in Hyboria.
Yeah.
The other one is Conan the Barbarian.
From Jason Aaron?
Yeah, #6 by Jason Aaron, which is honestly my favorite of the 2 Conan books. I do like Dugan's Conan. I just like Aaron's style of storytelling more so. So It's really just a taste thing. I like that Aaron is telling stories from different periods in Conan's life as like single one-off stories with an overarching plot going on with it, including this Crimson Witch.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. We've seen so many different time periods of Conan, including a story of like King Conan, which is probably one of my favorites that he's told so far.
Yes, where's that movie?
I know. And that story was so great because it really just was him like getting a feel for what it is to be a king.
Yes.
And I was like, I love it.
And he's been offered the role, but this one he got with his own hand.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so good. So good and a little sad.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
So with that, we want to recommend, if you want to get early access to videos, if you want to get weekly updates, which I need to write one, I'm sorry for the delay, with what's going on at the ComicPOP offices and what we're planning and what we're working on, go to patreon.com/ComicPOP. See if it's right for you. Look at the tiers, look at the structure, and see if that's something that you want to participate in. Otherwise, you can help us out by simply liking this video and subscribing to our channel. If you subscribe, click the bell and get notifications. And watch our videos. It really helps us out. Watching the videos, that's where this all goes. So please do so. We do appreciate you coming here and watching the show live or listening to it after the fact.
Yes.
We'll see you guys next time here on ComicPOP. There is a video that just was released this morning. Good, Bad, and Ugly. It is Batman cameos. If you like Swamp Thing, he shows up in that. You like Martian Manhunter? Again, Superman? Why not? Check them all out. It's a great episode.
Yeah.
Watch that after this if you haven't already. And stay tuned for more. We'll see you guys then. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
So long, everybody.
Bye, guys.